Hey guys, I want to give a shout out to 3C Films, Chris. He was doing a video talking about his most anticipated upcoming movies of 2025, as well as talking about like what kind of popcorn buckets are going to be associated with said movies. And I thought I'd kind of look at the list he provided and look at the logos and everything of the movies and kind of give my thoughts basically on what movies I think might get popcorn buckets or some kind of gimmicky bucket or whatever that they sell at the theaters, or they will let you pre-order and it gets mailed to your home, as well as look at maybe some of the movies that are upcoming, not just this year, but are coming this year and planned for this year, but may also be coming out within the next year, along with other movies as well, that I believe could be good, not so good, and could get the popcorn bucket treatment, if you will. So, with that said, and I do apologize if you hear anything in the background, that is our gardener. He is, he is doing some gardening for us. And oh, by the way, today is Discotheque New Year's. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific. That's almost at the same time Raw on Netflix is going to be. So, two big things going on at that same time. So, if you're watching Raw on Netflix, you can also enjoy this as well, I guess. So, we'll see. But anyway, let's get into the list here. I'm going to try to bring it up here. I know I downloaded it, but I don't want to bring up the pictures or anything, but let's look into some of these, shall we? And I'll give you an idea, basically, like I said, as to what I think is going to get the popcorn bucket treatment and everything, as well as the upcoming films. Now, excuse me. Now, these are, you can see the image on there. It's on the right. I believe it's on the right, on my right, if you will, right of the screen, left, depending on how you watch this, but on my right, but on the right side of the screen. And what we have here, is a list of the movies that are planned to come out. These are a list of the movies planned to come out this year. They might get rescheduled, but we shall see. Now, first of all, let's take a look at Paddington in Peru. That might get one, and I think honestly it might be. Hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze. But anyway, let's take a look at Paddington in Peru. Some are kind of guessing. It could be just Paddington maybe holding a popcorn bucket and all that. I could see that. But I think it's going to be his hat. It's going to be a popcorn bucket. And if they want to add a drink to it, I think that's when you're going to have Paddington wearing his jacket, holding the cup. That's going to be your drink. So his hat, and then Paddington himself being the cup holder. I think that's what you're going to get there. Now, will it be a big hit? I think it'll be a modest hit, because I think we're getting to that. We're kind of getting at that time frame now to where basically people are, they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're getting tired of Paddington, but I think they're getting to the point that, okay, we get it. It's a popular franchise and everything based on a character that's been around for a long time, but I think we're good. Now, what else is on here? Well, let's take a look at Blood Brothers. Do I think Blood Brothers will get a popcorn bucket? No. Do I think it'll be a big hit at the theaters? I would say moderate. Low to mid. Low to mid success. That's what I look at. Q Vang Man, or Kelvangman. Um, I don't know about that one. I don't think that'll get a popcorn bucket. You do have to understand that this is coming from GSC cinemas. I think they are, yeah, Malaysian. The Malaysian cinema. So some of these are, out of jurisdiction. But if Kulingman, Kuvangman, or Kalvrangman gets it, it'll be there. It'll be there. Jurassic World Rebirth. I could see that getting a popcorn bucket, and as cheap as it might sound, I think they're just gonna go maybe the logo route, to where it's basically gonna have the logo standing out, but it's going to be a popcorn bucket. It's gonna be like basically the logo is gonna be like standing out on some kind of thing, and that's gonna be the popcorn bucket, or it could be the Jeep. So it's gonna be one of them. It might even be one of those circular vehicles that they drove in the recent films. So it could be one of them, but either way, it's going to have the Jurassic World logo on it. But yeah, you're going to get a popcorn bucket with that. Either it's just going to be the logo itself, and that's your popcorn bucket, or it's going to be either the Jeep or the pod vehicles. The Jeep or the pod vehicles they were using to be the popcorn bucket. Do I see this being a big hit? I see it being a mid to upper echelon hit. And what I mean by upper echelon, I mean it's gonna get there because of what it is, and everything. So I'm looking at a mid to upper echelon, upper mid success for it. It's not gonna make the billion mark, but it's going to make money. It'll be a success to where you might get another sequel. Now, Lilo and Stitch, I think we're going to get a Stitch bucket. I do. I think we're going to get a Stitch bucket, and I think what you're going to get is you're going to get a Stitch bucket. One of the theater chains is going to give you a Stitch bucket, and one of them is going to give you a popcorn bucket with the ship that Stitch steals. So you're going to get a Stitch popcorn bucket where it's just Stitch holding the bucket and everything, or holding a sand bucket, if you will. And, then you're going to probably get one with the spaceship. One of those, you're going to get, well, I wouldn't say one of those, but you're going to get both of those, I should say. Both of those are going to be probably showing up in theater chains. One's going to get the Stitch one, one's going to get the ship one. That's my opinion. Now, the success rate for it, I would say Lilo and Stitch, same with Jurassic World. I think it's going to get mid to upper mid success. 28 years later, I would say we're going to get a popcorn bucket, possibly with that, and it's going to be what you see there. It's going to be the 28 years later emblem. You're going to see that logo be the popcorn bucket. That's what I think. Mortal Kombat 2, I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to get it. And it's going to be the Mortal Kombat logo. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be Mortal Kombat 2. It's going to be... I look at it this way. You're going to have one that's just the Mortal Kombat logo, or you're wrapped around a bucket and everything that's going to have a Mortal Kombat-like design to it. Or what you're going to get is you're going to get a Mortal Kombat bucket, popcorn bucket, that has Scorpion and Sub-Zero. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to get one with one where it's either going to be the logo, just wrapped around maybe a Mortal Kombat inspired bucket, with a dragon probably going around the bucket. I could see that. Or you're going to get a bucket where it's on one side you have Scorpion, the other side you have Sub-Zero. And again, just like with Lilo and Stitch, I think one's going to get the Mortal Kombat one, which has, the logo and a dragon circle around it and everything. And then I think another theater chain is going to get the Scorpion Sub-Zero one. That's just my opinion. Naked Gun, I could see them doing that. I don't know how they would do it. My opinion is if they're going to replicate the classic Leslie Nielsen poster, where he's, surfing on a bullet, I could see them doing that here. who's in this movie? Liam Neeson, I think. Liam Neeson. So I could see them doing that with Liam Neeson's character. I could see them doing that to where you have him on a bucket. You have him basically doing the pose on a bucket, and there's your bucket right there. Might even be a drink holder for all we know. So it could be either way. You're going to have him on a bucket, with him doing the classic Leslie Nielsen pose for the bucket. Captain America and Brave New World, I think we're going to get two different versions. One theater chain is going to get the shield, and another theater chain is going to get the Hulk hands, the red Hulk hands. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to have red Hulk hands in one theater chain, and then you're going to have the Captain America shield for another theater chain. Avatar, Fire and Ash, I could see that basically. By the way, just to get back to where I think the movies are going to be, 28 years later, again, I think we're going to get the emblem of the popcorn bucket. 28 years later, I see it as a midway success, not mid to low or mid to upper. I think it's just going to be right in the middle. Mortal Kombat, I could see kind of being, in the middle as well, but I could see it being a little upper, so kind of like slightly upper mid. Naked Gun, I could see maybe that being mid to low because, we don't know what Leslie Nielsen, not Leslie, but Liam, we don't know what this one's going to be like. We don't know what, again, I can't think of his name. Hold on, let me look this. Let me look this up, guys. Let me look this up. Okay, here we go. Liam Nielsen, I think. Oh, I didn't want to do that. It sent me straight back to X. It's the one thing about these. Let's see. Let's do that again. Let's see. Liam Nielsen. Yeah. Liam Nielsen. I don't... And it's going to have Pamela Anderson as well. And Cody Rhodes is going to be in it too. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I think that's going to be... it's going to be about mid to lower mid status, despite the star power. So it's going to be mid to lower mid. Liam Nielsen and Pamela, I think, are going to do as best they can, and the roles are going to take over from Leslie Nielsen and I think that other girl. But it's going to be mid to lower mid, in my opinion. Captain America Captain America Brave New World, I think it's going to be mid. It's not going to be upper or low. It's going to be mid. It's going to be like 28 years later. It's going to be like right in the middle. It's going to be right in the middle. So that's why I think Brave New World will be. And then Avatar, Fire and Ash, I think, getting back to the popcorn bucket thing, I think we're going to get one that's going to have fire. It's going to be like you're going to have something like with a fire emblem, inspiration bucket, inspired bucket. And then the other one, I think, is going to be fire and water. Like fire on one side, water on the other. I can see that. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I'm not sure about that one. Oh, and I do believe Avatar is going to be upper echelon. I think Avatar, because of what it is, and historically with how good the movies have been doing, Avatar upper echelon is going to be a big hit. It's going to hit the $1 billion, guaranteed. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I don't know if they're going to do a popcorn bucket for that. If they do, then I'm going to see them probably just doing a Mission Impossible like inspired lithographed like bucket, to where you're going to see all the different posters of all of the Mission Impossibles throughout the series, including The Final Reckoning. Where you're like with any lithographed image, you're kind of like twirling it and it changes and everything. That's what I think we'll get. I think we'll get a lithograph like Mission Impossible popcorn bucket. And I do believe it's going to be mid to upper mid success. It's going to be basically, it's going to succeed enough to where they might consider doing a spin-off series, or they might say, hey, let's do a cartoon series, an adult cartoon series, maybe for Paramount Plus. I could see that if it's a if it's a success, which I think it will be, and I'm believing it's going to be mid to upper mid. Black Phone 2, I heard what Chris had to say. I heard what 3C Films had to say about this, and I do agree. I think you have to go the phone route. You got to go the phone route. I think you got to go landline phone. Like the ones where you basically pick it up, it's connected and everything. Not just wireless, but like the regular line, the attached line. Go with that. Go with the classic attached phone, the classic landline phone, which has the attachment to it, the wire connecting the phone to the receiver. Have that, as well as have one with a cell. Do one that's a cell phone, and then do one that's a classic phone, connected, to the receiver. Do it that way, and I think do it that way, and you'll definitely sell some popcorn buckets. And I think if they do it, one theater is going to get the cell phone, one will get the classic wired phone, if you know what I mean. Love Hurts. I don't know about that one, so I don't know if it's going to get a popcorn bucket. Insidious Chapter 6. I think that'll probably get one, but it's all depending on what the trailer's going to show us. And whatever the trailer shows us, that probably will give you an idea of what the popcorn bucket will be. Papa Game On. I don't know much about that one, but if it's video game based, you're going to get a video game based, popcorn bucket. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. I could see basically you're going to get Toothless. You're going to get a Toothless popcorn bucket. So you're going to get two variations of it. You're going to get one with Toothless, just Toothless, and then you're going to get one with him and his trainer. I can't think of his name right now. Let me look that up. I know it's something. Let me look it up here. You look it up. I have the movies, I do, but I gotta look up what the movie. I gotta look. Hiccup. I think that's his name. Hiccup. Let me see, because I know it's not. I know it doesn't just have movies. It also has series. It has a bunch of series, believe it or not. So let's see what it is. See, I think his name is Hiccup, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his name's Hiccup. I gotta go back and watch the movie. Yeah, Hiccup. That's what it is, Hiccup. So yeah, Hiccup is gonna be on one of those popcorn buckets. So I think you're gonna get one that's just one theater is gonna get just Toothless himself, and then the other is gonna have Hiccup and Toothless. Hiccup on top of Toothless. That is, as a popcorn bucket. So you're going to have Toothless as one popcorn bucket for one theater, and Hiccup and Toothless for another theater. And How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake, I think it's going to be upper echelon. I think it's going to be big. Because people love the franchise, so they're going to want to see how good the DreamWorks live-action take on it, is going to be. And if Toothless is just basically a more amped up version of himself in live action form from the animated movie, you're gonna have a winner. So I'm looking at How to Train Your Dragon to hit upper echelon, probably not billion, but close to it. But yeah, popcorn bucket wise, I could see, Hiccup on one popcorn bucket for one theater. I can see Toothless for Toothless as a popcorn bucket for one theater, and Hiccup and Toothless for another theater as a popcorn bucket as well. And I think it'll get close to $1 billion. Not there, but not at $1 billion, but it'll get close. The Bad Guys 2, I think this is gonna sound crazy. We're going to get. I don't know how they'll make this work. But I think we're going to get. Basically. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I think we're going to get a Mr. Snake popcorn bucket. I do. I think we're going to get a Mr. Snake popcorn bucket. I think we're going to get that. And we're going to get him next. I think what we're going to get, it's going to sound strange because you look at that trailer, the ending of it. I think the ending there gave us an idea of what they're going to look like. Or what the popcorn bucket, I should say, is going to look like. So to me, you're going to have Snake and you're going to have Doom, the Raven Girl. You're going to have them, together, and you might get a replication, or a popcorn bucket version of that ending of the first trailer. Well, basically, she is, he is sucking her face. He is semi-voring her into his mouth. So yeah, I'm looking at the fact that you're going to get a Doom, Snake popcorn bucket. I feel that's what's going to happen. Going into the bad guys 2. That's what I feel is going to happen. And if not that, I think what you're going to get is you're going to get maybe you're going to get like a popcorn bucket that's going to be kind of like Mission Impossible, but instead of like showing the logos, the different posters for the movies, instead you're going to get a lithograph popcorn bucket. If you don't get the Snake Doom one, then you're going to get a lithograph version, or another lithograph popcorn bucket, I should say, where it's going to go switch from the bad guys to the bad girls. That's what I think you'll get. So you're either going to get a Snake and Doom popcorn bucket, kind of redoing, if not kind of close to, replicating the ending of the first trailer with, them making out and her basically in his mouth, or her head in his mouth. You're either going to get that, or what you're going to get, and this might be more realistic, you're going to get another lithograph popcorn bucket. But like I said, unlike Mission Impossible, where you'll get the different posters from the different films, instead you'll have this lithograph popcorn bucket switching from the bad guys to the bad girls. So probably more than likely you'll get that one over the Snake and Doom one, but we'll see. And I truly believe that the Bad Guys 2 is going to be mid to upper mid card success. Not close to $1 billion or anything like that, but it'll be like, I'll put it this way, it'll be a little below How to Train Your Dragon in box office return. But I think it'll make enough to where we'll get a Bad Guys 3. But again, as far as popcorn buckets go, I think if they want to take the risk, you'll have a Snake Raven one which replicates the ending scene in the first trailer, or you'll get a lithograph one that switches from the bad guys to the bad girls. Now the Smurfs, I don't know if they've moved the Smurfs to another year. I think they may have. I'm not really sure if they've moved the Smurfs movie. Let me double check on that. Okay, let me see if they've moved it, because I think they may have. I'm not really sure. Okay, Wikipedia says it's still scheduled for July 18th, 2025, and it's headlined by Rihanna as Smurfette. And she's going to have a say in it as well. Yeah, it's produced by Ryan Harris, Rihanna, Lawrence J. Brown, and Tyran Tai Smith. So, that's who's producing it. It's being written by Pam Brady and directed by Chris Miller. And outside of Rihanna as Smurfette, it's also going to star Nick Offerman, Natasha Loren, J.P. Arlick, Dan Levy, Amy Sandras, Nick Cole, James Corden, Octavia Spencer, Hannah Waterman, Sandra Oh, Alex Winter, from Bill and Ted, Billy Lord, Zolo Mandarin, Kurt Russell and John Goodman. So those are the ones. So those are the people, along with Rihanna, starring in the film. It is scheduled to be released this year. So the question obviously is, what will be, as I check something here for a second, guys, what will be the popcorn bucket for, for the Smurfs movie in July? Well, obviously, I think the most obvious choice is it's going to be, I think obviously the most obvious choice for the Smurfs movie, as far as popcorn buckets go, is it's going to be a Smurf hat. So you're going to probably get a Smurf hat. There's no doubt as the popcorn bucket. That's the most obvious one. But you got to have alternatives. So I think what you're going to get is you're going to get a Smurf bucket, a Smurf popcorn bucket for maybe one theater, but then the other theater, you're going to get a Smurfette popcorn bucket. Because let's be honest, Rihanna is not going to miss out on that money. Rihanna is not going to want to miss out on that popcorn bucket money, so she's going to want one for Smurfette all to herself. So I think you're going to get a Smurf hat. Maybe it's going to be this is what I think. You're going to get a Smurf hat, yes. But I think it's going to be Papa Smurf's hat as a popcorn bucket for one theater. And then I think for another theater, you're going to get Smurfette all to herself. Because again, you can't tell me Rihanna's not going to want to have that money. Or not want to make that money. Because she will. She will want to make that money. There is no doubt about that in my opinion. So you're going to have a Papa Smurf hat for a popcorn bucket in one theater. And a Smurfette all by herself popcorn bucket, at another theater. That's just my opinion. And I do believe this will be a mid success. Not epsilon, not mid to upper or mid to low, just right in the middle. I think it's going to be mid. And as far as the other ones go, Insidious 6, I think that's going to be mid to low. Because how many more are you going to go through that if you catch my drift? And the bad guys, again, like I said, I think they'll be mid to upper mid, if you will. Badlands, I think that's Predator, I believe. That's Predator, just by looking at it. If we get a popcorn bucket out of Predator, if we get one for Predator, you got to do the mask. The mask that the Predator wears, that has got to be the popcorn bucket. End of discussion. That has got to be the popcorn bucket. You have to have the mask of the Predator as your popcorn bucket. No questions asked. I don't care what kind of variation of the mask you do for whatever theaters are going to do it. That's got to be the popcorn bucket. It's got to be the mask. And do I think it's going to be a success? I would say mid to upper mid, but barely upper mid. So just right in the middle, in my opinion. Saw 6, that's kind of being, not 6, but Saw 11. Saw 11, that's kind of being pushed off to 2026, as far as we know. But if I was to say popcorn bucket wise, I'd say you're probably gonna get a jigsaw inspired popcorn bucket, in my opinion. That's what you'll probably get. And then Superman Legacy. What are we gonna get with that? Well, I did some AIs, believe it or not, and one AI, I think this was on Halo U AI, had Superman literally popping out of it. I said Superman Legacy popcorn bucket. It gave me the Superman that we're getting, but it had him like popping out of the popcorn bucket. So I said, okay, try something different, and it gave me something different. I think I'm with Chris on this one as well. I think this one. Now now getting back to Saw 11 first. I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be mid-success when it comes out, possibly next year, if not at this year, if there's any chance of that. Superman Legacy, like I was saying, I do agree with Chris on this. I believe one of the popcorn buckets has got to be the Daily Planet. It's got to be the Daily Planet. You got to do that. But I also think the other popcorn bucket, this is going to surprise people, I think the other popcorn bucket needs to be the Fortress of Solitude. I do. Fortress of Solitude and the Daily Planet as your popcorn buckets? Sign me up. Sign me up. Those would be perfect popcorn buckets, in my opinion. So, Daily Planet for one theater, Fortress of Solitude for the other. And I do believe, because this is coming out at the time of my birthday, a little before, but at the time of my birthday, this is going to be epichalon. This is going to blow all July records out. I've got a feeling. It's going to blow all July records out, in my opinion. All right. So what else? So we got the Fantastic Four by Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm going to definitely agree again with Chris on this. I think you already got your popcorn bucket right there. And that is basically the Fantastic Car. So the Fantastic Car, I think, is going to be perfect for a popcorn bucket. The Accountant, and I do believe Fantastic Four First Steps will be a $1 billion epichalon success. Because people have been waiting for this. You know, been waiting for them to be under the Marvel Studios umbrella. Now they got it. And I think because of that, it's going to be a $1 billion success. Now You See Me 3. I don't know if they'll do one. If they do, it's got to be magic related. It's got to be magician related. It could be a top hat. Could be, you know, a deck of cards in the shape of a popcorn bucket. But we'll see. And I think that might be a mid-success. Mid to lower mid-success. But, yeah. The Accountant 2. I don't know if they'll do a popcorn bucket for that. That might be a no-go. But I think that might be a moderate success in box office. Snow White. Okay, Snow White. That's going to be interesting. I think one is definitely got to be her. You know, around her standing around the popcorn bucket with the 7 dwarfs. So that's got to be one. And then I think the other has got to be her. The other one's got to be her reaching out for the poison apple by the queen as disguised as the witch. That's got to be the other one. So you're gonna have one. You got to have one with her and the dwarfs. And I think it's gonna be her circled around with the dwarfs and everything. You know, around the popcorn bucket. And then I think the other one's got to be the apple. Maybe with Snow White's hand on one end and the witch's hand on the other. There you go. So there's your popcorn buckets. One's going to be her and the dwarfs, probably circling around the popcorn bucket. And then the other one's going to be the apple. The other one's going to be the apple. Maybe with her hand on one end, and the the queens, if you will, the evil queens on the other. Now you might say, well, what about the Magic Mirror? Magic Mirror, I think, could be a drink holder on both occasions. So, both theaters, you know, different popcorn buckets. I think drink holder wise will have the Magic Mirror. So, one theater, like I said, is going to have Snow White and the dwarfs circle around the popcorn bucket. Then the other one's going to be the apple with the hands. Snow White's hand on one end, the witch is on the other. And I think this might be mid-success. Mid to lowest success. I could be wrong, but it might be a mid to lowest success. Megan 2.0, which is going to be PG-13. This is now I know some people are shocked by that, but let's not forget, we have had some PG-13 movies in the past decade that have been horror, and they have definitely shown the horror, believe me. But it looks like they're trying to scale back a little bit with Megan here, with the Megan 2.0. And I think they're trying to make this more into a franchise to where once they get it to where they want it, they can start selling dolls. And I'm not talking what you see in the movie. I'm talking just like regular dolls, like under the Mattel license or Hasbro license or something. But if anything, I think you're going to get a Megan doll. I think you're going to get a Megan-inspired popcorn bucket. That's right. I think you're going to get a doll-shaped popcorn bucket. A doll-shaped popcorn bucket that's basically Megan. That's what it is. It's going to be Megan 2.0 popcorn bucket. And as far as its success goes, I don't know. I think it might be mid. I think it's gonna be right in the middle. I think it'll be right in the middle. All right. So what else do we have? Um, Companion. I'm not really sure about that one, but I'll say maybe it's gonna be mid to lower. Money games. Again, this poster you see is mostly from Malaysia, so I don't know much about them. No, some of these films, I should say. Um, so I'll say it might be mid, but I'm not sure if they get a popcorn bucket based on money games, it's got to be a money based popcorn bucket. Ballerina from John Wick. Oh yeah, you got to do one for Ballerina, and it's got to be inspired, by both. So I think this will be another case where you'll get a lithograph like popcorn bucket, where it'll be when you look at it, when you move it, turn it, it's going to go from John Wick to the ballerina character. That's what I think. Michael, the biography based on Michael Jackson. This would excuse me. This will be interesting, but if I was to say they would do any kind of popcorn bucket, they're going to have to do his shoes done in the moonwalk style. Do a moonwalk style like popcorn bucket, with the shoes. Basically, like when you look at the logos, or look at his iconic logo for his stuff, for his franchise, right? It's basically done in the moonwalk style, right? The moonwalk style with the shoes. That's a popcorn bucket. There's your popcorn bucket right there. One of them, at least, for Michael. It's the shoes. It's the shoes in the moonwalk pose as a popcorn bucket. And then the other one's got to be his hat. It's got to be the hat that he always used to tip and everything. That's a popcorn bucket as well. So the hat and the shoes. The shoes in the moonwalk pose, as a popcorn bucket, and his iconic hat as a popcorn bucket. Both sold separately at different theaters. The moonwalk shoes is a popcorn bucket. The moonwalk shoes, popcorn bucket at, let's say, Regal, and the hat at AMC or Cinemark. One of the two. So that's just my opinion on that. And do I think it'll be a huge hit? Oh, it's freaking Michael Jackson. It's freaking Michael Jackson. Of course it's going to be a hit. I think it might surprise people. And you're looking at epichelon. Not billion, but epichelon close to it. But yeah, to me, the popcorn bucket's got to be, for one theater, it's got to be the moonwalk shoes and the moonwalk pose. And the other popcorn bucket's got to be his hat for another theater. Tron Ares, I think you got to go with the Tron-inspired costumes. Or not costume, but look of the film. So you got to go with the red, and with the red lighting around the popcorn bucket. So I think that'll do, to where you have a switch. This is what I think. You need to have, this will be one of those cases where if you do a popcorn bucket, it's got to be a popcorn bucket that has a switch on there where you can turn it when you turn it from off to on. You turn it from off to on. You get, the popcorn bucket lighting up just like you would see in Tron. So, yeah, I think that's the popcorn bucket we're going to get for Tron Ares. You're going to have a popcorn bucket that you turn on. It's going to light up in the colors of the movie. Oh boy, and I do think it'll be a decent hit. It'll be a decent hit, mid-hit for Disney. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie by DreamWorks. I know my great niece might go see that and everything because, that's right up her alley. But let me see what this is. Let me see what this is going to be. Okay, Dollhouse, the movie. Let's see. It says, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie is an upcoming animated live-action animated fantasy road adventure comedy film based on the Netflix series Gabby's Dollhouse. Okay. It's interesting. It says it's scheduled to be released in the United States on September 26, 2025. It is being released by DreamWorks. It says, premise, Gabby goes on a road trip with her grandmother, Gigi, to the urban wonderland of San Francisco and has to go on an adventure in the real world to save her dollhouse and her friends from a cat lady named Vera. Okay, so that kind of sounds like Fat Albert, the movie. I don't know. I think if you're a kid, you're gonna enjoy this. So I think just by the kid audience, it'll be a mid success. It'll be mid. And if anything, if you're gonna do a popcorn bucket on Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, it's got to be the Dollhouse. It's got to be two things if you want to, make popcorn buckets off it. It's got to be the Dollhouse for one theater, and it's got to be the cat ears for another theater. That's it. So and that's all you need. You just need the cat ears for one bucket for one theater and the Dollhouse for the other. That's it. And like I said, I think it'll be all right, be mid to lower mid success. Then we got Brad Pitt in F1. I think that's what it is. I think that's what this movie is. Hold on. Let me check. Oh, I don't want to do that. Not that way. Let me check. Here we go. Yeah, it's a race. Yep, F1. Formula 1 racing. So, yeah. This is easy right here. This is easy for a popcorn bucket. Formula 1 racing car. That's it. And because you have different variations, of racing cars, color-wise and all that, you can have your way with what kind of popcorn buckets you sell at certain theaters. So you could have a red and black, F1 Formula car for a popcorn bucket, and a blue and white, F1 Formula racing car for a popcorn bucket in another theater. So there you go. Minecraft, I think that's going to be kind of an easy one. I think you're going to get the little green guys. I think the green guys, their head's going to be perfect. Steve's head, this is what I look at. You need a Minecraft accurate head of Steve, right? So I think Steve's Minecraft accurate head from the games, not the movie, for one popcorn bucket, and then those green Minecraft characters, zombie characters, whatever, for the other Minecraft one. Okay, and I do believe that Minecraft movie, I think that'll surprise people. I think that'll be mid. I think that'll be a mid success, near upper echelon, but it'll be mid. F1, I think, is going to be close to upper echelon. Easy for me to say. Hold on for a sec. Get some orange juice there. Mouth is running dry. Final Destination. I don't know about that one, but I think if you're gonna do it, you got to choose something from the Final Destination, from the trailer or from the movie that's gonna get people talking a lot more. So if I'm them, it's got to be maybe the roller coaster. Got to do a roller coaster final popcorn bucket for Final Destination, in my opinion. Roller coaster, and I think this will be a mid to potentially upper mid success, just based on what it is. Okay, so we got Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, the movie. If this gets a limited release here in the States, which it should, then I could see them doing a Demon Slayer inspired popcorn bucket. I could see it. What it will be, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think it could be. Nosferatu, that's already got a popcorn bucket. That surprised a lot of people. It's a casket, and it's doing surprisingly well. And Demon Slayer, for the short time it might be in theaters, I think it'll be decent as well, because Demon Slayer, as an anime and a manga, has a fan base. ELO from Pixar, I think that'll be a decent success. I don't think it's going to be upper echelon, but it'll be decent. Popcorn bucket wise, I think you're going to have the character, the main character, ELO, and maybe one of the aliens as a popcorn bucket as well. So whatever is going to be talked about the most out of the trailer and it's going to sell the most, I think that'll be a popcorn bucket for ELO. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I think you're going to have two choices. I do believe Chica's Cupcake is a good choice. I'm not denying that. But we don't know who else is going to be in it. I don't know if Roxanne's going to be in it. I think that's another character. You know, I think that's another character. I don't know if she's coming in. You know, or not. Let me know. But, yeah, apparently she's going to be... I mean, she's a popular character, obviously, but I don't know if she's going to be in it. You know, that's the question. The way... Here's what's crazy. The way fans present her... The way fans present her and everything... You know, it's like... Excuse me. It's almost like, you know, they are... they're trying to present her as the good girl, almost. It's like they're trying to present her as, you know, as the good girl. Roxy, I think. Okay, is that her name, Roxy? No, that's something. Let's see. Roxy. Okay, Roxanne. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, she is a character from there. There's no doubt. But like I said, the way people position her at times, it's almost like they're trying to make her like a good girl and all that. Like she's beautiful. She's sweet. She's attractive. Apparently, she's a waifu to a lot of fans. But she's also like, you know, good. Like she's got a... I don't know, good heart or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be in the movie. Let me know, guys. Let me know if she's going to be in the movie or not. But, because I think if she's going to be... okay. It says here, Roxanne Wolf, who also known as Roxy, is a character in Five Nights at Freddy's series who will appear in the 2025 horror sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So she will be in it. She will be in it. Again, we don't know if she'll be a good girl or a bad girl and everything. But again, the way people are positioning her at times, it's like they're trying to make her good. They're trying to make her good. So... we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do with this character when she's in the movie. But, if she's going to be in it, I definitely think it's either going to be Chica's Cupcake or you got to do one with Roxanne. You got to do one with Roxanne. She's apparently going to, she's apparently like a rock star or something. She's apparently a rock star or something. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so it says she's a main antagonist. It says role in the games. The role in the games. In Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Roxanne is a guitarist in the glam rock band and a main antagonist. In the Ruin DLC, she becomes a supporting Dutagonist and ally to the player. So there you go. Dutagonist and ally to the player in the Ruin DLC for Security Breach. So obviously that's what they're talking. So obviously that might be what she will be. We don't know. Let's see what that means. Dutagonist. It says the person second in importance to the protagonist in a drama. So yeah. And it also says, this is what Wikipedia says it. It says basically the protagonist often acts as a constant companion to the protagonist or as someone who continues actively aiding a protagonist. So she will be a good girl, apparently. Maybe. We're not really sure. But I think if you're going to have popcorn buckets for this film, Chica's Cupcake's got to be one of them. and then her with her guitar has got to be the other. And I think it might be a mid-success. That's all I'm going to say. Wolfman, I don't know if they're going to do one for him. If they do, it's got to be the Wolfman head. Maybe. Or it's got to be, I'll tell you what it's got to be. It's got to be the Wolfman, like standing next to the popcorn bucket. And then the popcorn bucket above it has the full moon. That's what you do. So you need the Wolfman and the popcorn bucket and a full moon. Because even though it's not based entirely like that, doing it like that's definitely going to get people to buy that, in my opinion. And I do believe it might be a mid-success. Not big, but mid. The remake for I Know What You Did Last Summer, obviously, I think that's going to be a mid-success. Maybe mid to close to epsilon, but mid mostly. And I think I Know What You Did Last Summer, if you're going to do a popcorn bucket for that, you see it right there where your popcorn bucket's got to be. It's got to be Hook-inspired. It's going to be a Hook-inspired one. Zootopia 2, oh, that's easy. You got to have one with Nick and Judy. Nick and Judy, one popcorn bucket, have them in front, or have them have it to where one character's on one side, the other character's on the other. There you go. And you got to have the popcorn bucket, with a background of what they're going to be, mostly in the film. Or you got to be whatever the main environment they're going to be located in as the popcorn bucket. So one with Nick and Judy, is a part of it with the background of wherever they're going to be mostly at, or it's a popcorn bucket of the environment they're going to be at. And that could be one for each cinema. One with Nick and Judy, on the bucket in background of wherever they're going to be on the bucket with them standing in front of it or across from each other. And then the other popcorn bucket just being a representation of where they're going to be located at the most. And I do believe Zootopia 2 is going to be a massive hit, upper echelon right there. Thunderbolts, I think you got to do Red Guardian. You got to do Red Guardian. That you got to do his shield as a popcorn bucket, and you got to do his helmet as a popcorn bucket. End of story. End of story. So, shield, the Red Guardian shield as a popcorn bucket, and the Red Guardian helmet as a popcorn bucket. There you go. And I think it'll be a mid to almost epsilon success. So, mid to almost epsilon success for Thunderbolts. Freakier Friday, I don't know if they'll do that one. If they do, I think it'll be another lithograph one where it's going to switch. Well, when you turn it, the image will switch from the characters as they are to the characters they become in the film. So that's what I think. It'll be another lithograph one, and that might be a mid-success as well. Wicked for Good, the continuation of Wicked. I think this one, you got to go with the Witch's Hat. We already saw what they've done so far with the Wicked popcorn buckets and everything from when Chris's 3C films has shown. So I think, obviously, this time around, you got to do, because it's going to be called Wicked for Good, you got to do one that's a bubble, because because we saw her, apparently, from what people have said, we see Glinda get her bubble that she floats in, and floats and shows up in and everything. I think you need to do one of her bubble, of Glinda's bubble for one theater, and then the Witch's Hat, the soon-to-be Wicked Witch's Hat for another theater. So the Wicked Witch, her hat for one theater, Glinda's bubble for another theater. And then that's what you're going to have for popcorn buckets for Wicked for Good. And this, to me, is going to be another upper echelon movie. It's going to be a huge hit. Nobody 2, I'm not too sure if they're going to do one. We'll see. If they do, it just might be something that represents the movie, whatever it might be. So we'll see. Karate Kid Legends. Now, that's a good one. Karate Kid Legends. I think that one, you got to go with one popcorn bucket being lithographed, and then the other maybe with, maybe take a page out of what Paramount did with Gladiator 2. Do a popcorn bucket to where you have the central area of where the film's mostly going to be, and then you have the phone with the app, and then you put the phone over the popcorn bucket, and you get a little fighting scene there. So I think that's what they need to do with Karate Kid Legends. I think with Karate Kid Legends, they have to do a lithograph one, which kind of shows the imagery of, Mr. Of Daniel-san, Ralph Macchio's character, Daniel-san, and Mr. Miyake. Easy for me to say. Hold on for a second. I almost got tongue-tied there. Let me type it in so I can... here we go. Film series. Here we go. Pat Morita, so I think he plays... I'm trying to make sure I get the right name going here. Mr. Miyagi. There we go. Mr. Miyagi. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it. But Pat Morita's character, Mr. Miyagi. I think you got to do a lithograph one where you show the grown-up Daniel-san, but it then switches over when you're turning it to the young Daniel-san. Then Jackie Chan's character turns into Mr. Miyagi. And then, just back and forth. I think that's a lithograph one you got to do for one popcorn bucket. And then the other one, like I said, should be like a setting, like the main setting of the film. I think that main setting is going to be the tournament. And then you take a page out of the Gladiator playbook, and you have an app that allows you to have like a little fight show up in the middle of the area, in the middle of the popcorn bucket that represents the main area for the climax of the film and all that. Then Mickey 17, that's going to be interesting. Because apparently the way, his character dies multiple times through various ways. I think they'll come up with something interesting. I don't know if they will, though. But I think they will. I think they might come up with something interesting just based on the concept. You might have 17 versions of Robert Pattinson's character. I think that's who's paying it. On there, I guess in different, I wouldn't say dying pose, but I would say you're gonna have him represented different times. So we'll see. Oh, you just might just get a plain old popcorn bucket that says Mickey 17 on it. We'll see. But I think that'll be a success. I think Mickey 17, because people have been waiting for it. I think that'll be in mid to upper echelon success, mid to upper echelon success. And Karate Kid, because of the Karate Kid Legend, because of the success of Cobra Kai right now, and it being a massive hit, and the Karate Kid series, of course, being nostalgic, fan fest. That's going to be mid to upper echelon success as well. And then The Conjuring, Last Rites. Don't know if they'll do one there. If they do, it's going to be Conjuring based, in my opinion. And that might be mid to low success. But yeah, those are the ones I think will... But yeah, those are my thoughts on what movies I think are going to get different variations of popcorn buckets, if not just one popcorn bucket, and where I think they're going to succeed at. So that's just my thought on that. That's just my thought on that, if you will. Then, as far as these upcoming movies, which you see on the left, here. Basically, this is, you see the list here of what's planned to come out this year and everything for theaters and everything. So I can definitely say that by looking at them, I could say that right now for January, we just started January, I think Wolfman and Dogman, which is an animated movie, I think they will succeed. They will be the big hits of January. And oh, by the way, Dogman, I think if they do that as a popcorn bucket. They got to do, to me, they got to do. They got to do the dog itself. They got to do the Dogman character himself, where you open up his mouth and put the popcorn in there, or you open up the top of his head, you put the popcorn in there. So that's what I think they need to do with that. But I think honestly, Dogman and Wolfman, I think will be the big hits for January. February, I think Paddington and Captain America will be the big hits. That's just my opinion. And The Day the Earth Blew Up as well. The Day the Earth Blew Up, that's an interesting one for a popcorn bucket. I think that's got to have basically Daffy and Porky and Petunia on one bucket. Trying to, I guess you could say, because I think they're going to be on the moon or something like that. Or at least for part of it, or I'm not really sure. But, you got to have them like circled around, something like, you got to have them circled. I think you're going to have them like circled around something. So I think, The Day the Earth Blew Up, you need to have Porky, Petunia, and Daffy, on one popcorn bucket, like, on top of the earth and everything. You got to have them, or at least have them standing in front of the earth and everything, looking up. That's going to be a popcorn bucket right there. The three of them looking up, with the earth, in the back of them, and the earth is the popcorn bucket. So that'll be good, and I think that'll be mid to upper echelon success, because people have been wanting this for a while. They've been wanting it. But yeah, I think as far as February goes, it's going to be Paddington in Peru, Captain America, and The Day the Earth Blew Up. Those are going to be your big hits. For March, I think Mickey 17, Disney Snow White, they're going to be the ones that'll be the big hits. Yeah, they got some other ones out as well, like Night of the Zoopocalypse. I don't know if they'll do a popcorn bucket with that, because I think that might be very limited. So I think the ones that'll be successes will be for March, Mickey 17, Snow White. So there you go. April, I think you're going to get Minecraft. I think Minecraft's coming out in May, right? Well, whatever. You're going to get Minecraft as a huge hit if it's coming out in April. And you're going to get The Passion of the Christ Resurrection. That's going to be a big hit. And I don't think they're going to do any popcorn buckets on the Resurrection period. I don't think they're going to do that. Then May, obviously, Thunderbolts is going to be the big one there. And I think Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, Karate Kid, and Final Destination will be your big hit. So for May, you're going to have Thunderbolts, Final Destination, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, Lilo and Stitch, and Karate Kid Legends as your big hits for May. And they're all coming out at different days, so that's good. Then, June, Ballerina, ELO, and the live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie, and Megan 2.0. Those are going to be your big hits in June. Ballerina, ELO, live-action How to Train Your Dragon, and Megan 2.0. July, July, obviously, Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, big time, Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Smurfs. So there you go. Superman, Fantastic Four, First Steps, Smurfs, and Jurassic World Rebirth. Those are going to be your big hits for July. Superman's going to top them all in that month. Then August, you're going to have Bad Guys 2 as a hit. Naked Gun reboot, I think, is going to surprise people. Then I think that's about it. Freakier Friday might surprise people as well, but I'm going to go with basically only two for August, that being Bad Guys 2 and Naked Gun reboot. Then September, I think, will be, if these don't change, The Conjuring Last Rites and Gabby's Dollhouse. Yes, I think Gabby's Dollhouse is going to be a big hit because it's going to attract a young audience. So, believe me, that'll make it a big hit for September. So, The Conjuring, Last Rites, and Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. October, I believe, obviously, Michael is going to be a big hit. Tron Ares is going to be a big hit. Mortal Kombat 2 is going to surprise people. And I believe Black Phone 2. So, Michael, Tron Ares, Black Phone 2, and Mortal Kombat 2, those are your hits for October. Then, November, Predator Badlands, I think that's going to get it. Wicked for Good is going to blow them all out of the water, but it's going to be in close competition with Zootopia. Zootopia 2. So the big ones in November, Predator, Badlands, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2. December, Five Nights at Freddy's, I think is going to surprise people. That'll be a hit. The one that's going to blow them out of the water for September, Avatar, Fire and Ash. SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, which I think is going to get a popcorn bucket as well. And I think that will get a SpongeBob inspired. And I think it's just going to be SpongeBob's head, as a popcorn bucket. I'm sorry to disappoint people, but I think it's going to be. But yeah, it's going to be SpongeBob. It's SpongeBob's head as a popcorn bucket for one theater and his SquarePants for another theater. There you go. But yeah, that's coming out. That's going to be a hit, there's no doubt. Then you got Marty Supreme, The Anaconda, and The Housemaid on Christmas Day. But the ones I think they're going to take it for December will be Five Nights at Freddy's, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and SpongeBob. Then, here we go for what is planned. Now, let me remind you guys of something, okay? Let me remind you guys of something. These are only scheduled. Now, these are not... let me remind you guys of something, okay? These scheduled dates could change. All these dates I'm reading off that you see here on the screen, they could change. They could move forward. They could move to earlier and move to later. So be on the lookout for that. These are not, finale. They're not finiti, if you know what I mean. So, for 2026, these are what's pretty much scheduled. Soulmate, or Soulmate. I don't know what that's like, but that's coming out the second day of January, second day of 2026. On the 16th, you got 28 years later, The Bone Temple. The Bone Temple. Like I said, I think that's going to get maybe I think that's going to get, unless there is one before it in 2025. I don't see it. Oh, no, there it is. There it is, yeah. So June 20th, 2025, 28 years later. And then the sequel, The Bone Temple. I think, if anything, that's going to get the same kind of popcorn bucket, maybe with some bones, aligned with it, along the emblem, if you will. But yeah, January 16th, 2026, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And then on the same day is Weapons. And then on the 20th is Aang, The Last Airbender, based on the animated series. I think the two that will succeed in January for 2026, if this keeps up, will be Aang and 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Then in February, you got 3 movies scheduled. You got an untitled Marvel movie, Wuthering Heights, and Goat, I think. And then on the 27th, you have Scream 7. If this stays on schedule. And I think the two that will succeed will be Scream 7 and the Marvel movie, whatever that's going to be. But let me check something for a second. Let me check something for a second, guys. Okay, 2026 film. It's from Sony Pictures Animation. It's a sports comedy. coinciding with NBA All-Star Weekend. Okay. Oh, it's from Stephen Curry. It's from Stephen Curry. So it's on. It's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be basketball based. It's gonna be basketball based. Hold on, guys. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Phone rang and I had to use the facilities real quickly. But anyway, like I was saying, what was I? Oh yes, yes. Apparently, the GOAT is going to be a Sony Pictures animation film based on something that Stephen Curry came up with. I don't know what it's going to be about or anything like that. Trying to get some information. I don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what the plot's going to be and everything. So it says GOAT is an upcoming animated. GOAT is an upcoming animated American sports comedy film. Let me read that. It says GOAT is an upcoming American animated sports comedy film produced by Columbia Pictures, Sony Pictures Animation, and Unanimous Media, and distributed by Sony Pictures. And distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. It will be directed by Terry Dillahan and co-directed by Adam Rossett from a screenplay written by Aaron Bushiba and Teddy Riley. It is scheduled to be released on the February 13th, 2026. Now, it says, let's see what it says. It says it was announced on the 30th of this year that Sony Pictures Animation had begun production on the original sports comedy GOAT with Terry Dillahan of Unanimous Media directing. It says GOAT is scheduled to be theatrically released in the United States on February 13th, coinciding with the NBA's All-Star Weekend, which will take place from February 13th to 15th that year. Okay. Don't know much about it, but apparently Stephen Curry is involved with it. So hopefully we'll find out more information down the line, but it is scheduled for the 13th of February. But I think, unless we find out more about it, I think, Scream 7, Aang, The Last Airbender, and the entitled Marvel movie, I think will be the winners in February of 2026, unless, we find out more about GOAT. Then in March, we have Pixar's Hoppers, Dr. Seuss' Cat in the Hat, Untitled Exorcist movie, which I believe might even be sent to October because of the way it is. Flowervale Street, Project Hail Mary, and Street Fighter. Okay, so for March we got a little clearer look, and I think Hoppers is going to be. I think Hoppers will be one that will be a success. Let's see, Cat in the Hat 2026. There we go. So, okay. So Cat in the Hat in 2026 is going to be animated. That's good. We don't know what it'll be looking like, but apparently it will be animated. So, it'll be, I guess, done by Bill Hader or something like that. And it's done by Warner Brothers Pictures Animation. And it's scheduled to release in 2026. So, okay, so Warner Brothers Animation is doing it. Hopefully nothing happens there. And it's going to be released in 2026 by Bill Hader. However that's going to look under, his direction, we'll see. But yeah, that's coming out. And it's animated, so that might be more to what it needs to be instead of what it was with Mike Myers. Because what they did with Mike Myers, they were trying to basically ride the coattails of Jim Carrey as the Grinch, and it didn't work. But if it's animated, then I see it, Pixar's Hoppers, and maybe Street Fighter. I'll give Street Fighter the okay. So Street Fighter, Cat in the Hat, if it still goes on, which it should, and Hoppers, Pixar's Hoppers, being your winners of March 2026. Then April, the only movie for April that's scheduled is Super Mario Bros. 2. So right now I'm going to declare that the winner, but we could get more. In May, on May 1st, we have Avengers Doomsday. May 15th, an untitled Steven Spielberg movie. May 22nd, The Mandalorian in Grogu, Young Yoda. And I think the winners for that is going to be all three of them. I think all three of them will win, because we don't know what Steven Spielberg's going to bring to the table. But, whatever it is, it's going to probably have success. It's got his name attached to it. So I think all three are going to be big in May. But the two I think that'll be the biggest will be The Mandalorian and Avengers Doomsday. Those will be your two big winners outside of the Spielberg movie joining them when we find out what the title and the premises of that will be. That's for May of 2026. Then June of 2026, we have the Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie, which is definitely getting its cast together, big time cast. An untitled movie from the Daniels, Toy Story 15, and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And your winners for June of 2026 will be Masters of the Universe, Toy Story 5, and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Those are your big hits. Those are your winners. And if I was to choose two, it's going to be Supergirl and Masters of the Universe. But, yeah, the top three, Masters of the Universe, Toy Story 5, and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow for June of 2026. And then the two that will top, June 2026, Masters Universe and Supergirl. Then July of 2026, Shrek 5 on September 1st. On July 1st, I should say. On July 1st, Shrek 5. On July 10th, the live-action Moana. On July 17th, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And on the day before my birthday, if it works out right, Spider-Man 4. And then on the last day of July, Paw Patrol 3. Again, these dates, every date that I've mentioned, even for this year, next year, and even 2027, which we'll get into in a bit, they are all subject to change. But if they stay the course, then July will have, as its winners, Shrek 5. It will have the live-action Moana as a winner. It will have The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan as a winner. And it will have as a winner Spider-Man 4. Paw Patrol 3 could surprise people, but right now, if the schedule stays as it is, Shrek 5, live-action Moana, The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan, and Spider-Man 4 will be your winners for July 2026. Then September, the only one we got, on 9/11. Oh boy, what a date to come out. We have Clayface, based on the Batman villain of the same name. If there's nothing else that month, Clayface will win. Then in October of 2026, and again, Clayface will win September 2026 if it's the only movie and nothing else comes out that's major. But getting back to October 2026, on the 2nd we have an untitled Alejandro Gonzalez film. Then on the 9th we have the sequel to TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Then on the 23rd we have an untitled Jordan Peele movie, which I think is going to be the next which will be the next Quiet movie, I think. I think it'll be the next Quiet movie. Let me check. I think he did. I think It's not Us. It's what movies did he do? What movies did he do here? Hold on. It's not good. It's can't think of the. Oh, A Quiet Place. So let's see. Yeah, Quiet Place. So I don't know if he did Quiet Place or not. I don't think he did. But he's got a movie coming out in October 2026. I think it's going to be the next. I think it's going to be a sequel to Get Out. I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's what it's going to be, guys. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think the movie is going to be Get Out. I think Get Out's going to be his film that he does. It's either going to be Get Out or it's going to be Nope. It's going to be one of those two. So, yeah, I think we're going to get Nope or Get Out. We might even get So, because I'm looking at his filmography as a director, Get Out, Us, and Nope, which he directed, wrote, and produced. So it's either going to be one of those three. It's either going to be Get Out, Us, or Nope. It's going to be one of those that gets a sequel for October 2026. But who will be the winners? Right now, it's going to be Mutant Mayhem 2 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that will win in October 2026. And it's going to be the Jordan Peele movie, which I think is going to be a sequel to either Us, Nope, or Get Out. One of those two, I think. So, yeah. I'm just trying to look this up, try to get the information up here. And no, I don't think. And yeah, I think it's either going to be Us, it's either going to be Get Out, or Nope. That's gonna get a sequel, I believe. That's just my opinion. So it's either Nope or it's either going to be Nope or it's going to be Get Out or Us. It's going to be one of those two. That's the movie that wins October along with TMNT Mutant Mayhem sequel. And I'm sorry if I was a little distracted there when you were listening to this. I'm trying to make sure I get all the information I need to tell you this. But yeah, the ones I think that will win for October 2026 will be the Mutant Mayhem sequel and the Jordan Peele movie, which could be, like I say, a sequel to any one of the three I've mentioned. So again, I do apologize if I sounded a little distracted. Maybe if you're a little bit quiet or something like that. Again, I was trying to make sure I got all the information here that was needed. Then, November 2026, we have an untitled Marvel movie. We have The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. Untitled Disney Animation. Those are the ones for November. November 6th, Untitled Marvel movie. November 20th, The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. And then on the 25th, the Untitled Disney Animation, which I think a lot of people are feeling is going to be Frozen 3. It's going to be Frozen. Well, actually, Frozen 3 is scheduled for 2026, right? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I was thinking. Frozen 4. Well, no, it says Frozen 3 is for 2027. I'll get into that in a moment. So, I think, well, whatever it is, I think the Untitled Marvel movie, and the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping, they're going to be the winners for November 2026. And I don't think there's going to be like any top two out of that. I think it could be, there could be any top two if you look at it. It could be the Disney film and Hunger Games. It could be the Marvel film and Disney film. It could be the Hunger Games and Marvel film. All three are going to be winners for November. All three are going to make big money in November 2026. And then in December of 2026, Jumanji 3 and Ice Age 6. I think Jumanji 3 is going to win out on that one. Ice Age 6 may surprise us, but I think a lot of people are Ice Aged out, even though it's been a while since we've seen the original gang back together for the films. I think they're going to get beat out by Jumanji 3. Then, in 2027, we have, on March 26th, Untitled Godzilla vs. Kong film. Nothing else has been announced, so I think that will be the winner. May 7th, 2027, Avengers Secret Wars. Nothing else announced for May, but obviously that's going to be the big winner right there, box office wise. June 18th, 2027, Untitled Pixar film. Then June 30th, 2027, Minions 3. I'm going to go with the Pixar film because I think a lot of people are Minions out. Then in July, 2 days before my birthday, on July 23rd, 2027, Untitled Marvel film and Bad Fairies. I'm going to go with the Untitled Marvel film to beat out Bad Fairies. Then, October, nothing else scheduled for October. October 1st, The Batman Part 2 will be the big winner for October. No matter what other movies come out, that's going to be the big winner. Then November 5th, we have another Untitled Marvel movie. And then we have Margie Claus, a Christmas movie. I think the Untitled Marvel movie will be the big winner for November. Along with, on November 24th, Frozen 3, unless that gets bumped up to that Untitled Disney spot a year earlier on the 25th of 2026. So it all depends on the scheduling. And then in December 17th, 2026, or 2027, I should say, December 17th, 2027. Nothing else announced for the time being. Untitled Star Wars movie. And if there's nothing else announced, which there will be, obviously, Star Wars, as of right now, will win out. But yeah, those are the movies all scheduled to come out, in the next, this year and the next 2 years. And the ones I think that will be the big winners for each month that they are out. Now, again, like I said, these dates are subject to change. Obviously, they are subject to change. I look at that November 25th, 2026, Untitled Disney Animation, date there, release date there, and I think that is being reserved potentially, maybe for Frozen 3 to be bumped up to that. That's what I'm thinking. It might also be saved for Incredibles 3. So we got to look out for that too. But of course we have the Untitled Pixar film, which is being saved for June 18th of 2027. That too could be saved for Incredibles 3. So I look at it this way. 2027 has basically has about 1, 2, 3, 4 untitled Disney properties potentially set for release on these days. If and then kind of find the right words. Let me get some more orange juice here for a second. But if Disney and Pixar stay steadfast, if they stay steadfast with their decisions, they keep their foot down, then that June 18th, 2027 Untitled Pixar movie, Incredibles 3, that's when it's going to be released. And I look at the fact that Frozen 3 will remain on November 24th, 2027 for release. But put that in quotations, because you're looking at November 25th, 2026, a year before, that has an untitled Disney animation reserved in it, and that could be for Frozen 3. That could be where Frozen 3 shows up, if you will. That could be where Frozen 3 shows up, because it got done a lot sooner, and potentially Frozen 4 could be bumped up to November 24th, 2027, to take Frozen 3's place. But that's just my opinion. Again, like I said, most of these, especially as we get into the later years of 2026 and 2027, a lot of these are right now, not set in stone. Even though studios will come out and say they are not set in stone. They will be subject to change. And that's a fact. That is a fact. But anyway, though, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on all these movies coming out. Do you agree with the movies I feel that will be the big successes for each month that they will be released in, for not just this year, but the following years? A release date subject to change, that is. Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below and in the live chat if you're watching this live during the premiere. Let me know. Also, let me know if you agree with my ideas for the popcorn buckets for the movies that'll be coming out this year and all that, and even next year. Let me know about that. And until then, guys, comment down below. Live chat during the premiere if you can. Super chats will be open during the live chat during the premiere. It'd be greatly appreciated if you could, drop a few there. But anyway, guys, click on the links in the description to find my content elsewhere. Check me out at all your favorite podcast affiliates, where you can find my podcast, BW Russes, at at outlets like Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Pandora, you name it, you will find me there. Also, check me out at rumble.com at BW Roses, where you can find everything you find here on YouTube, if not stuff you can't find on YouTube. Also, check me out at odyssey.com at BW Roses. I have a channel there as well. I also have one at VENMO at BW Roses. Also, check me out at divanart.com at BVW1979. Inkbunny.net at BW Roses. And check out my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Links will be in the description. But guys, ring the bell, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And until then, I will talk to you later. But like I said, let me know what your thoughts are. Which movies do you think will be big hits in the months that I talked about? Do you agree with my predictions? And do you agree with the popcorn bucket ideas for certain movies that will be coming out this year and in the years to come? Let me know. And until then, I am out.